Hi everyone, we're
Hi.
back.
We are back, and we're shaking the stop shaking the table. Earthquake! No, we live in Pittsburgh. They don't happen here.
I hope not.
Not very often, anyway. All right. Well, we are, as promised, going to do our top 10 2023 releases that we've played list. So as we said, it's a little thin. We didn't play a lot of the big games that came out in 2023 for a variety of reasons. So these are, I think, 5 years from now, when I look at my list of games that came out in 2023 and where they rank, this will not be my top 10. Some of them might be there, but I think that some of these are definitely going to drop off. But it is what it is. So
I think the one thing is a lot of these are not going to crack very deep into my top 100 of all time.
Yeah.
A couple maybe, and then maybe a couple towards the middle and bottom. But it's really, it's not the most primo list, I'll admit.
Yeah.
So you might want to make it quick.
All right.
Make it snappy.
All right. Make it snappy.
All right.
Well, I do have some honorable mentions.
Okay.
And I've got two. One is Astronauts.
Okay.
Which we played, and it's on my list at number 12, and that's even still a little bit artificial. I moved it up because we were really disappointed in it. But I think that's because we love Aeon's End so much, and it's probably better than I think it is. I still would always prefer Aeon's End, and I think we're going to get rid of Astronauts, but it's not as bad as we thought.
Yeah, I think it's about 12 for me too, actually.
Yeah. And then the second one is Tesseract, because we played it once online, and we do own it, but I need to play. We played it during Gen Con online. I need to play it again and in person to see if it's really going to be that high. We had so much fun playing games at Gen Con. Sometimes that artificially inflates how I feel about a game. So, yeah.
All right.
Any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I would mention Naturopolis, which is a Button Shy release from the Sprawlopolis universe. I just like a nature-themed version of Sprawlopolis. Didn't make my top 10, though. Motor City, a really good roll and write. Didn't make my top 10. And Perfect Words I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
That was a word guessing game where you come up with combos of clues and then have to try to all guess the same, come up with the same common denominator word to match the clues.
Yeah, it's kind of a party game.
Yeah.
And I think I discounted it for that reason. But you're right. I really enjoyed that too. That was a lot of fun.
Yep. All right. So let's get to our top 10. So my number 10 is Numpsters. This is another Button Shy. You play it in your hand. It's based on the idea that 7, what is it? Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. And so 8 is the card that eats other cards, and you want to order the cards in a way to make it to the end of the game. And it's tricky to do correctly. And the cards have powers, they also have numbers, and so you can have cards eat other cards, but sometimes you can't do that. You got to use the powers, and sometimes you just end up, it just doesn't work. So
yeah,
really fun though.
Yeah, it is.
Play
really
it in
fun.
your hand, solo game.
Yeah, it did not make my list, and just I think because I didn't play it very much. I think I played it once or twice, but yeah, I know lots of folks really love it. I think Michelle at Second Star to the Left, it was one of her top most played games of the year.
Yeah, and I don't love it that much, but I like it.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, my number 10 is Maps of Mystera. I only played it. I only played it on BGA, and I think I only played it with other people. I never played it with you. It's a really, I know. What I like about it's tile laying, but the tiles get laid in sort of like two phases. When you lay them out, they're cloudy, and So it looks like it's going to be mountains, and it will be mountains if you make it thus, but you can also sort of like override that. So you're building, contiguous areas. It's area control or area majority. And you've got goals like, oh, I should have, all mountain cards on the edges of my board or something like that. So you've got your own goals and your own board that you're building on. As well as a board in the center that you're building on. And so just for a kind of simple tile laying game, it's got a lot of layers of complexity, and I just really enjoy that. And this is one I really would love to get my hands on and try to play a physical copy of it. I think we would love this.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
That's my number 10.
All right. My number 9 is an interesting choice. This is from an Indian designer from the nation of India, and that is Cholas. And this is a pretty cool abstract sort of, you're building a building, but it's pretty abstract, and it's pretty fun. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's really interesting and strategic. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this is another game that also the more people that you played it with, it would sort of transform the game a little bit in terms of how you interacted for those majority spaces. But yeah, I really love it. I love the fact that it's from it's a game about Indian history by an Indian woman, as opposed to, just some Westerner thinking that's a cool topic. So it was definitely really fun. It did not make my top 10, but it is in my top probably 15 or 20 for the year.
Okay.
All right.
That's my number 9.
My number 9 is another game that I've only played on BGA, and I don't think I've played it with you, and that's Nar. It is a sort of tableau building game about Vikings and about building up your Viking territory and then sending them out to explore and to get loot. And I've just really enjoyed playing this. It's pretty simple, but it's a lot of fun, and it's kind of thematic, and the art's really fun, and I love my Vikings. So yeah, that's my number 9.
All right.
Nar.
My number 8 is a game from a designer I really love. It is not my favorite game for him, but I did enjoy it. And I'm really looking forward to playing the game that this is based on, and that is Bot Factory. So it's from Vital Lacerda, and it's a cool little game. I'm looking forward to it being part of a bigger game where there's more going on.
Same.
But it was fun.
It was fun.
So, and it had a cool selection system, and it was neat. It was neat. So, action selection system is what I'm saying.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that also, that's just outside of my top 10, just outside, it's at my number 13, actually, which is why I didn't mention it. But again, I wanted to be part of the bigger game.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 8.
My number 8 is Naturopolis.
All right.
So the nature version of Sprawlopolis. I really like this. It's got some extra different mechanisms in it that are different. I think of Agropolis and Naturopolis. I like Naturopolis better than Agropolis. That one's really hard. It's weirdly difficult. But I love it. It's a great theme, beautiful cards. And of course, Sprawlopolis is, it's a great game. One of my all-time favorites. So that's my number 8 is Naturopolis from Button Shy.
My number 8 is a pretty cool game about tectonic plate movement called Oros. Now, Oros is a cool game. You're building up like volcanoes, and then they're spitting out land, and then you're moving from different parcels of land and doing different things. You're playing the gods.
Yes.
And it's got a cool player board where you manipulate different powers and you unlock additional powers and unlock different scoring. And it's pretty cool. It's got a lot going on, but not too much. It's not overly complicated, but it's also very interesting. And the way that the land pieces move is really interesting. It sounds more complicated than it is in practice. When you first are introduced to it, but it's neat.
Yeah, so that's a really good choice.
So that's my number 7, Oros.
All right. My number 7 is Moon River from the folks who brought you King Domino. I don't think it's going to replace King Domino for me, and we've only played it on BGA, but I just really love that sort of tile laying and area building type of game where you're choosing your tiles for, you know, the way they're going to score you points and what area you can build up. This one sort of builds vertically, which is a little bit different than King Domino, which is the square. But I really enjoyed it. So I really look forward to trying the physical copy of this one at some point too.
This one has potential, but I played it and didn't read the rules, so.
Sometimes we do that with BGA, and it's a different experience.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing entirely.
Yeah. Well, that is my number 7, and that is Moon River.
My number 7 is a nice little roll and write called Next Station Tokyo. And this is just the next version of Next Station London. It's pretty much the same game with a different map. And so the different map, I gotta stop hitting the leg of the table. I'm shaking the table, shaking the camera. I don't know. It's interesting, and it creates for dynamic choices. And just like at Next Station London, you're creating basically a subway route and trying to maximize your objectives and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's pretty fun.
I find I still don't 100% understand this version of it. But it is fun. I mean, Next Station London is so good. Yeah.
Number 6, Next Station Tokyo.
All right. Well, my number 6 is also a roll and write. And it is from our friends who brought us Fleet the Dice Game and Three Sisters, and that is Motor City. I really love all of their games. This is my least favorite of the themes, I think. I could really kind of care less about cars, but nevertheless, it's just so good. They're so good at creating these roll and writes where you've just got this cascading series of bonuses that happen. And what's not to love about that? That's like a serotonin factory or a dopamine factory. Woo! Yeah. All right, so that's my number 6, Motor City.
Yeah, it's a good choice. All right. My number 5 is a game I've only played online so far, but I think I really enjoy it in person. I think more than I do online, to be honest. And that is Forest Shuffle. Forest Shuffle is a pretty cool card game where you're playing like trees out, and then you play animals and butterflies and stuff on top of the trees, and try to score as many points as you can.
Yeah.
I'm not very good at it yet, so we'll see.
I like a game that I win at.
So anyway, that's my number 5, Forest Shuffle.
Okay. My number 5 is Get on Board, Paris and Rome. We have the physical game, but we haven't played it in person yet. We've only played it on BGA. And it took me a couple plays to actually figure out what was going on. But once I did, I really like it. Route building is always really fun. And this one just has a little bit of extra to it with the different objectives and trying to make sure you get Granny where she wants to go and so on and so forth. So I really am looking forward to playing this one on the actual tabletop.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, let's get on board.
All right. I know you got a lot of BGA games on your list.
I do. I played a lot of games on BGA this year.
Yep. All right.
I think it's not the last one. Wow.
All right. Well, my number 4 is not a BGA game we played, but we did play it during Gen Con Online, and that is Tesseract. This is a pretty cool abstract game where it's basically dice placement, but there's a tower of dice, a Tesseract of dice in the middle of the table. And you have to choose dice off the Tesseract, and then you get to use their abilities and try to solve the game in time because it's cooperative. And try to solve it as a group and win the game.
Yeah, I think this one's going to climb up my list a lot. Mm-hmm. It was really good.
We liked it enough that we picked it up. So very, very excited to play more of it. But yeah, that's my number 4 is Tesseract.
All right. Well, my number 4 is a game. So I think long-term one-off games just won't have a place in my top 100 or, generally favorite games from that year. Maybe there'll be a few exceptions, but this is a one-off game, but we really, really enjoyed it. And that's Mother of Frankenstein. What a fantastic puzzle game. There were a few moments where we got a little frustrated, but in general, this is one of the better puzzle games we've played. And I loved the story that went through from start to finish. So we played through all 3 volumes this year. And, that story, it begins in the first one and you follow it through and you get your resolution sort of at the end. And I'll tell you, it's not what I was expecting at all. And we love these kind of games too. They may not individually show up on our top 100, but I feel like there's a place in my top 100 for one-off puzzle games or mystery games.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how we're going to do that, but
yeah.
This
one had some really unique puzzles to it as well.
Yep. Good choice.
All right.
All right, my number 3 is a game that I really enjoyed a lot. I played it a lot more than you did. It is a print and play roll and write called Dungeon Pages. It's a dungeon crawler. It is really fun. Quite good for a roll and write print and play game. And one of the fun things about it is they made a different dungeon for every week of the year. So that's like 52 dungeons plus a base set. So there's 50 something dungeons. So really, really fun. They made a new one this year, which I haven't played yet. But it's more of a sci-fi theme. Anyway, very excited to get that one to the table at some point. So I'm very happy with that. It's something I would recommend as well.
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think I like the more fantasy theme. It more speaks to me than sci-fi, but you could probably still get the fantasy one as well.
Yeah, you can online. So
yeah.
Yep, that's it. And that's my number 3, Dungeon Pages.
All right. My number 3 is one that you've already mentioned, so it's a crossover, and that's Oros.
All right.
I loved it. There's again some with Trajan, you're kind of thinking about where is something going to be in the future and planning for that, and even not knowing exactly maybe where those tiles are going to shift to, because there's that tectonic plate movement, right? And so your islands might shift, a row of them might shift, and that's going to change the way the islands are configured. And I just, that mechanism sort of on top of an already really good game is so clever, and I just really enjoy that extra level of puzzling out for strategy. That to me is so much fun. And you're right, I've heard some people say that like the movement of the tiles is completely befuddling. I mean, maybe it's because I had you to tell me how to do it, but I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was pretty understandable how you were going to move those islands.
I felt like once you did it a couple times, it was easy. It wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, same. So this one is, I think, going to stick around in my top 10 of the year and possibly break into my top 100. We'll see. That's Oros.
Good choice. Okay, my number 2 is a game that you've already mentioned.
Okay.
Mother of Frankenstein. So
yes.
This is a one-off. It is so good, though. It was very fun. Good. I do not know how these one-offs fit in. It's easy if you have a series of them, like the Exit series games. Like we can say, oh, the Exit series are number 80 in my all-time list. Mother of Frankenstein, I think, is the only game that this publisher's come out with. Whereas, like the Eternal Emerald Flame,
they've really good.
They've come out with several games, so you could sort of say there's their series of games as a placeholder. But yeah, I don't know how that's going to work in a top 100. But Mother of Frankenstein was very good. Had a cool 3-dimensional building that you built out. Never dealt a 3D puzzle before, so that was pretty cool.
That was so much fun.
It was fun. So yeah. I do recommend it. Mother of Frankenstein.
Great choice, obviously. Yeah. All right. Well, my number 2 is another BGA only game. And that is Age of Champagne.
Oh, good
AOC,
choice.
Age of Champagne. It took me a couple plays to figure out what the heck we were doing. I feel like this is when we just dove in or like, well, sure, let's play it. But it's really sort of that combo of growing the right grapes to make the champagne and then marketing. And the marketing is really key to that. And so again, you want to balance out your efforts so that you can grow the grapes, age them, do all the things you do to make something champagne, and then sell them and get them to the right market and have the right thing for market when it's time. So I really like that. I really love the mechanisms in this game. This is one that I really look forward to playing again, hopefully in person, like, physical copy at some point.
At some point, but it's not out yet in English, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So, all right.
All right, number one.
Number one.
Woo! The moment.
My number one is something you just mentioned, Age of Champagne.
Woo! Okay, almost a crossover.
Yeah. What a great game. This is a game that I think I cannot wait until there is a ability to get an English version, hard copy version of this. I think this would be so fun to play hard copy.
Oh, so much fun.
It's got a cool, different mechanisms, your player board going on, and you're building up your cellar, you're building up your wineries, you're doing all this different stuff.
Your press.
Your press.
Your great press, yeah.
Yeah, your media presence, all that stuff. So it's quite interesting, and I really do check it out on BGA. It's an involved game. It's complex for sure. So if you don't like complex games, maybe don't, but if you do, check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I think maybe the more people that play it on BGA too will build up some momentum to getting it printed and available
I
in
think there
English
was
here.
talk about a potential Kickstarter, but I can't say that for sure.
Just such a good game. Oh, so right up our alley.
Yep.
All right. Well, very good. My number one is a crossover. You've already mentioned it. And that is Forest Shuffle.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's really high.
I know. I really, really love it. I love the animals and I love the ecosystem. And it's like the fox scores if you've got the rabbits, and the higher, apex predator score if you have the deer. And I just love that. I love building out my ecosystem. I love the way the scoring is on theme. It's relevant to, that part of the ecosystem. It all makes sense. And the cards are beautiful. I don't know if it'll play the same in person because, again, on BGA, you're taking one turn and then 3 hours later, you're taking another turn and so on and so on. So I don't know what it's going to feel like in person. I think it'll be better. I think it will be great. I actually really want to buy this game. It's a game we're certainly going to be bringing into our collection at some point, I believe.
I think that's a curatable.
Yeah.
I think that belongs in our collection.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the theme is really right up our alley. Love the card playing. I really like the mechanism of that. In order to play a card, you have to spend some cards too and decide like what you want to get out of your hand. So there's a lot of that decision making.
It's risky because you play them to the table and then other people can pick them up.
Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just going to play that out and then I'll grab it the next time. And nope, it's gone. And you don't want to give somebody else something they need to really score big. So it's fantastic. I love this game so much.
All right. Good choice. All right. So that was our top 10 games for 2023. As we said, we didn't play as many 2023 as we had hoped to. So we're hoping to fix that for 2024 by playing a lot of 2024 games. Maybe we'll revisit this list in a year or something.
Yeah.
But, for now, we wanted to give you our list. So, what games that were 2023 releases did you enjoy? Let us know, because we really like to hear what games people enjoyed. And
we do have some 2023 releases here on our shelves to play. So, what should we play first? You can help us identify what are the not to be missed games from 2023. All right. Remember, every day that you game is a holiday.